Hello everyone, Chris Cross here, Design Director at Cold Iron Studios. We're excited today to showcase and talk about the new Specialist class, a brand new class we're introducing for Alien's Fireteam Elite 2 releasing this summer. Here with me are Derek, Brock, and MJ from our development team.
Hi, I'm Derek Wade, Lead Combat Designer.
I'm Brock Robin, and I'm the Lead Systems Designer.
Hey there, I'm MJ, QA Tester at Cold Iron.
The Specialist is the pinnacle of where you can take your builds in AFE2. This is about pushing the end game and kitting out the ultimate soldier so you can clear the highest difficulties and defeat any challenge the game throws at you. Brock, can you tell us a little bit about the Specialist gameplay loop?
So to build out your Specialist, you need to level up your other classes first. Playing as a Specialist increases your Specialist rank, which unlocks unique perks and items and gives you more room to tinker on the perk board. However, most of the real juicy stuff like abilities and replacers need to be unlocked on your other classes first. Once I start unlocking abilities on my duelist, I can bring those over to my Specialist to customize with. For example, I've got a level 10 medic. Everything I can do on my medic, I can bring that over to my Specialist and combine it with everything else I've unlocked on the other classes too.
If you've got all your classes leveled up, there's an embarrassment of riches to work with. What kind of Specialists have you guys come up with?
I wanted to make something that was all about sending rounds downrange, so I kitted out something I call the Gunfighter. I combined abilities that have me spraying tons of lead, so I started with the burst configuration from the Duelist, the ability that gives you this huge experimental gun that's normally exclusive only to that class. And then for my secondary ability, I'm using the Bodyguard turret from the Machinist. That gives me a turret that flies around and is always doing damage to enemies. And then I rounded those two out with the Deadeye passive, so as long as I'm hitting anything, I'm getting increased stopping power and lower recoil. And of course, for my weapons, I went with the revolver rifle as my primary and the Frontier revolver as my sidearm, because this build is the ultimate Xeno hunting cowboy.
Nice! Your Gunfighter Specialist sounds awesome. What did you cook up, MJ?
Check this out. I came up with something I'm calling the Paladin. I wanted to build the Aliens version of the fantasy where I'm tanky and have a huge weapon, but I can also defend my team and heal them. I'm using the Blast Cannon ability, which gives me tons of crowd control, and I modded it to buff me with extra damage and defense. Then, for team support, I went with the Medic's Trauma Station for heals and the Guardian passive, so whenever I shoot something that's attacking my ally gets healed. And then of course, I wanted something that feels like a giant sword, so I went with the classic Smart Gun.
Wow, your Paladin is super cool. I love how you leaned into that Paladin trope. What about you, Brock? What's your Specialist like?
I wanted to go big and loud, so I customized a Grenadier Specialist. If there was a chance to use an explosive, I took it. Naturally, I'm using Titan rockets from the Marauder class as my primary. Enough said. Then I got the cluster grenade launcher from the Duelist as my secondary to really saturate an area. I'm supporting all that with the Gunslinger passive. Whenever I kill enemies with my abilities, it lowers my cooldowns. For my guns, I'm bringing the classic M41A pulse rifle from the Aliens film, cause hell yeah. And this time it has the underbarrel grenade launcher that we've always wanted. Obviously for my second gun, I'm bringing a damn rocket launcher. To quote Private Hudson, I'm the ultimate badass.
Wow, hope you're not gonna go too crazy if we've got friendly fire turned on. What about you though, Chris? You're the game director, you better have made something crazy.
I got you covered. I made my Specialist into what I named the Elementalist. Damage types are a big part of AFE2, so I leaned into making sure I'm always ready to counter any threat. Basically, everything my Elementalist does is about covering a different damage type. I took the base particle beam from the Hunter and turned that into a cryo pulse, so I've got cryo damage. I took the combat stims from Medic, which heals teammates and reduces cooldowns, but with mods, anytime I use that ability, I release a blast of electric damage too. I'm using the dual targeting passive, so I do extra damage to enemies when they're hit by my abilities, and I modded it even more so they become vulnerable to electricity. For my primary guns, I'm rolling with a flamethrower, and for my secondary, I'm using the new railgun, which gives me piercing damage so I can counter any armored mini-bosses. I'm using AFE2's new sidearm system to customize my backup too. I took the standard M4 pistol, but used the new augment slot to give it incendiary bullets. But enough talking about it, how about we take a look at these incredible Specialists in action. We can't wait for players to get their hands on this new specialist class. And we're all really looking forward to seeing all of the amazing builds you're going to come up with. AFE 2 is coming this summer, so you won't have to wait too long. Be sure to add it to your wish list, and we'll see you in game.